Thank you so much for joining me for this little quickie restorative class. Hopefully this helps you feel rejuvenated and super restful and super mindful and present. We're going to get started in the supported fish. If you don't have a bolster, I don't have a bolster at home, you can grab pillows. Sometimes a pillow from the couch is like the best, most firm one. You can also find blocks and lay a blanket on top of them. Wherever it is, you want to bring where a bra strap would be. That's where the beginning of your prompt would be. And then your arms will go out nice and wide. And then you'll draw the soles of the feet together, knees wide. This could feel like a lot for someone, so if you want, you can either place blocks underneath the knees, or you can let the legs go long. You choose, and just allow yourself to fully rest here. Allowing yourself to breathe. Before you find that complete stillness, maybe you create little snow angels with the arms, right? So drawing the hands, the backs of the palms, down the floor until they come into hip height, and then sliding the backs of the palms up to shoulder height, to ear height, and then maybe even overhead. And then finding these little gentle snow angels here to just kind of notice what's going on in the body. And then maybe you decide to keep your arms in a place that feels sensational, but not too sensational. And then allow yourself to rest. Taking the first few minutes of class to fully arrive onto your mat, letting go of your day, letting go of to-do lists, anxieties or worries, planning, hoping or wishing, and allowing yourself to be in the moment. I had a teacher once tell me that happiness and contentment, santosha, only lives in the present moment, because anxiety lives in the future, depression lives in the past, and in reality, we don't even have either of those things, right? We don't have the future, we don't have the past. The only thing that we truly feel is right here, right now. So can you find that santosha, that contentment regardless of circumstance, right here in this posture? You're not doing anything, you're not trying hard, you're just being. And that's fucking enough. That's more than enough. You're on your mat, restoring your levels of energy, restoring the peace of mind, finding happiness and ease. Couple more breaths here. If you lengthened your legs, draw them back in. We're all going to bring the soles of the feet to the floor, knees point up. We're going to fall off one side of our props and we're going to move them out of the way. We're going to press down into your heels, lift your hips up a little bit, and draw them over to the left side of your mat, and allow your knees to knock to the right. All right. And then you can play around with where your knees are, right? They can be kind of lower or higher. You want to feel the twist, but not too much. Arms can come to a T. And then we're going to do a little bit more movement before we find that stillness again. So you're going to reach your left hand, dragging the back of the palm up the floor to overhead until you come all the way into like a little fetal position. So you're bringing your left hand maybe on top of your right. And then you'll slide that hand back open, up and over to the left. And then do that again, nice and slow. Move it up until you come into a little fetal position. And then draw it back up into your twist. This time land your twist, relax both of your shoulders, look towards the left if that feels okay. Anytime the mind wanders, come back to the body, come back to the breath. Notice the sensations, notice your breath. Allow yourself to breathe. Draw your head back through center, so look up towards the ceiling. Draw the soles of the feet back to the floor. Lift up your hips and then slide them straight to the other side. So up and over to the right. Draw your knees to the left. Again, you can play around with where your knees are. I like them in hip height, but you can play around with how far or close up they are. And then you're going to reach your right arm out wide. And then dragging the back of the palm on the floor till you're overhead. And then your palm might need to switch to point down as you come all the way into your fetal position. Maybe your right hand taps on top of the left. Slowly open it back up. Your right arm is going to slide overhead back to the right. And then do it again. Swing that right palm up and overhead. Begin to lean onto your left side body and then stack your hands. This time swing it up and open. And then hang out here. Relax both of your shoulders, look towards your right thumb. Breathe nice and deeply. And stay. Surrender into the posture, into the stillness, into the presence and the being. Can you be here now? Slowly begin to draw the knees back through center. Soles of the feet come to the floor. Lift your hips up and then shimmy them through center. Grab your bolster again, or maybe grab a block if you want a little bit more sensation, a little bit more height. We're going to slide the bolster or block, short end, underneath our hips. So we'll lift our hips up, and then we'll slide the bolster onto our sacrum, that flat part below the spinal cord. And then you're going to walk your shoulder wings in a little bit, and then let your arms go out wide or maybe towards the floor. And this is going to feel like a lot and enough for people, but if you want a little bit more, you can lengthen either one leg or both legs. And then you'll breathe here. If you switch, I'll tell you when to switch legs if you're doing one leg at a time. I like this longer variation because you can feel your hip flexors opening up. And in a society that's always seated, we're always contracting those hip flexors, it's great to open them up. And if you want even more, especially if your legs are straight, both of them, you can create a little rag doll with your arms overhead. If you're just doing one leg at a time, switch your legs. Wherever you are, we'll come back to that supported bridge so you can walk the soles of the feet back in. If you have the bind overhead, release that. lift your hips up, remove the block or pillow or whatever you got, bring your hips back down to the floor. Take a second here in neutral. And then we'll draw the left ankle over the right knee, flex the left toes, press the left thigh away. This can feel like enough. You can also grab underneath your right thigh. Relax your shoulders no matter where you are, and I'll tell you one more variation if you want to take it a little bit more intense. You'll drop the right sole of the foot to the ground. You'll grab your foot and knee of the left leg. You can even kind of hold it like a baby, bringing it into your elbow creases. And then you can stay with your right foot grounded, or you can extend it out long. So like a reclined half pigeon. You're in your reclined half pigeon, draw that right sole of the foot back in. Slowly release that ankle back on top of your right knee. And then we'll meet everyone else in your figure four, grabbing behind the thigh for just a moment. Keeping the shape exactly as is, we'll release the binds of the hands, cactus our elbows, and then drop the foot over to the right, so that the left sole of the foot plants like you're in a bridge. And then I like to grab my bottom ankle to make sure it's not sliding away. You can also press the top thigh away. You can also look over your left shoulder. Slowly come back through center, right sole of the foot plants. And then you'll drop the left sole of the foot down, cross your right ankle over your left knee, and then press the right thigh away. You can stay here. You can grab the left thigh. You can relax your shoulders no matter where you are, and then you have your options again. So you're welcome to stay here, or you can drop that left foot down. You can grab your knee and ankle of the right leg and just hug it in like that. Or you can cradle it like a baby, walking the armpits of the elbows around the knee and foot. And then you can stay grounded with your left foot, or you can lengthen it out long so the heel is grounded. Allow yourself to breathe no matter where you are. Allow the breath to be long and smooth and restorative. Remembering that you don't have to push yourself to the hardest stretch, right? You can find somewhere in between. Finding that balance between effort and ease. It's not always easy, and it's definitely not stagnant. It's ebb and flowing. If you have the foot and you lengthen the left leg, draw the left leg back in. Very slowly release that right ankle on top of your left knee. And then you can grab the left thigh. We'll all meet in this kind of grabbing the left thigh figure four for a moment. And then release the bind of the hands, drop this entire shape over to the left. Right sole of the foot plants. Look over your right shoulder. I like to grab that left ankle again. You can also press the top thigh away. Breathe. Slowly begin to come back through center, unravel the legs, soles of the feet plant. Windshield wiper the knees left and right. And then find a full morning stretch. Reach through your fingers, point through your toes, wake up the body. And then let's put it to rest. All right, so you can find your Shavasana. I like, especially for a more restorative class, to end with my thighs elevated on a bolster or a couple of blocks. Make sure that your tailbone is kind of slightly tucked a little bit, or just at least that the flesh of the glutes are away from the lower back. Your legs can kind of fall outward, or your feet can fall outward. Arms can go wide, take up space. You deserve it. Relax, restore, remembering that you can't pour from an empty cup, right? Being rested and being well rejuvenated and restored is so good for you, but also so good for everyone around you. When you feel better, the people around you feel better. We all radiate this energy, and if we are giving off the bad stuff, not only will we be giving it to others, but we'll receive it back. So can you let yourself feel good here? Feel content in just being. Relaxing from the crown of the head, down through the tips of the fingers and out through the toes. Fully releasing, fully letting go, surrendering. Shavasana. Take a deep inhale. And a cleansing exhale. You're totally welcome to stay here for as long as you can. Otherwise, invite movements in the fingers, toes, wrist and ankle. Find a full morning stretch, reaching through the fingers, reaching through your toes, waking up the body. Draw the knees in towards your chest. Remove any props you may have. And then either fall through a fetal position and then press yourself up, or rock and roll yourself to a seated position. And then once seated, we'll just share a breath. Take a deep inhale in through the nose. And then the loudest exhale of your life out through the mouth. All right, thank you so much for joining me.